look back too many years, Betty Davis would be posing in her cradle instead of sitting for a portrait painter. This shot was taken only a few years ago when Betty was already a star. It was a new experience for Betty to have to sit perfectly still while a picture was being made. When the artist told her that it was all finished, she decided to take a look for herself. Betty was a great dog fancier, still is. The day we visited her was McTavish's bath day. McTavish had heard that a horse had to be led to water, but he insisted on being carried. Like a true Scotsman, McTavish had little use for water, except as a chaser. There's McTavish's pal. Betty's not going to duck him if he can help it. Instead, he'll duck. At the races, we ran into Jimmy Durante, and Jimmy had just bet $10 on some nag's nose. You can see for yourself that Jimmy lost his shirt. Schnoz swore that from that day on, he'd never bank on anyone's nose but his own. At the circus, we bumped into Jimmy again. He was asking an old pal if shooting that guy out of a cannon was on the level. His pal told him that nothing was on the level. You can see for yourself. We asked Jimmy to introduce us to his friend. He did, and told us it was Umbriago's kid brother, some kid. Pat O'Brien and the missus. Pat's taking a well-earned rest after making one of his first motion pictures. Pat didn't invade Hollywood until after the birth of the talkies. Today he gets little time to loll around in the sun. He's too busy. And like an old fiddle, Hollywood's favorite Irishman improves with age. When Merle Oberon arrived in Hollywood, she didn't have to battle her way to the top. Merle was already a star in her native England. And to prevent homesickness, she'd spend most of her spare time on the cricket field with David Niven and Nigel Bruce. Merle enjoyed working in back of a camera almost as well as in front of one. We wouldn't have to look back many years to witness Fred Macmurray's arrival in Hollywood. Next to making pictures, Fred is best at making leather gifts for his friends. The cameraman caught Fred hard at work on a holster for one of his cowboy pals. From this well-equipped workshop, Fred can give you anything from a leather saddle to a sound piece of advice. Fred's advice for success is always look forward, never look back. You could almost call Marjorie Main a newcomer to the screen. Hollywood grabbed Marjorie from the stage as soon as they saw her in Dead End. Marge insists that those glamour gals would have nothing on her if they'd let her wear some good-looking duds. We'll see. Well, all I can say is that Betty Grable and Lana Turner had better watch their laurels. My, what a slick chick. But hurry back into your old gingham dress, Marge. We like you that way. George Murphy is one of the most talented young actors in Hollywood. To quote in the vernacular of the profession, George was practically born in a trunk. He started his career dancing in the chorus. Hollywood's mighty proud of Wayne Morris. He was one of the Navy's outstanding flyers and has several enemy planes to his credit. Dick Powell is another who came up the hard way. Dick started in show business as a singer and master of ceremonies. One of the first ladies of Hollywood, Irene Dunn. These shots taken just a few years back shows Irene going to the dogs. To a dog show. Before coming to Hollywood, Irene had visions of becoming an operatic star. It's lucky for theater box offices she changed her mind. For those who might be looking at the dog, isn't it an elegant pooch? A few years back, we took our cameraman down to the Los Angeles station. We were tipped off that several celebrities were arriving on a certain train. But why all the cops? Why all that protection? It must be someone important. Perhaps a gold shipment. Maybe it was Dillinger. Then the mystery unfolded. It was only a reception committee for Edward G. Robinson. Eddie was returning from a preview of Little Caesar, and this little frame-up was staged by the studio cops. To prove that Eddie is opposite to the characters he usually portrays, here he is with Mrs. Robinson, and not all dressed to kill. Jean Arthur, when she was a wampus star. We have no idea what wampus means. However, it spells supmaw backwards. We haven't any idea what kind of a bird this is either, so we'll keep quiet. You figure it out. Not only Hollywood, but the entire nation is proud of Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy enlisted in the Army as a private and came out a colonel. Takes a good man to do that, and then some. Not so many years ago, Ann Sheridan left Texas for Hollywood. To become a star, you should be able to do other things beside acting, singing, and dancing. Here you see Annie learning to skate. Nice work if you can get it, for the instructor. All work and no play would make Ann a dull girl, so she's on her way to the Screen Guild Ball with Cesar Romero. Roy Rogers and his educated horse, Trigger. Roy and Carol Landis visit Monkey Island. Could it be they're giving that little fellow their autographs? This old chap preferred his beer to Roy's autograph. Today, the monkeys are dispossessed. People will live any place. It wasn't many years ago when Olivia de Havilland and her sister Joan Fontaine arrived in Hollywood. And it wasn't very much longer before Olivia and her sister became stars. These scenes were taken right after Olivia had made several pictures in a row. She was entitled to a little fun, and it looks like she got it. One of the catch lines of a popular song not so long ago went, or would you rather be a duck? What's wrong with being a duck? That is, until he ends up on a platter surrounded by green peas and mashed potatoes. Tyrone Power making a scene for one of his earlier pictures. He was another Hollywood actor who tossed aside his makeup box the moment war was declared. Tyrone shows a plaque he won to his most ardent fan, his mother. His father was a great actor, so Tyrone followed in his father's footsteps. This shot is chiefly to advertise the California sunshine and scenery. There's Rosemary Lane, Lana Turner, Anita Louise, Patricia Ellis, Dolores Del Rio, Paula Stone, and Wendy Barry. Lana Turner jumped to fame almost overnight. She's the young lady who made all the girls sweater conscious, some of the boys, too. If we went back too far, Lana would be in school instead of dancing in a nightclub. Here's Cary Grant and Randolph Scott watching a ball game, or maybe it's the races. Anyhow, they're watching something. We know what Cary's watching here. It's his step as he escorts her to the Screen Guild Ball. That delightful comedian Rosalind Russell and John Bowles step off the set to get a breath of fresh air. For the past few years, John has forsaken the screen for the... Now comes a delightful little drama entitled, Which Comes First, the Chicken or the Egg? The chicken is Rosalind Russell, and the egg is, well, Cary Grant's in there, too. This kind of driving is a common sight in California, so let's sit back and see what happens. And the moral of this little drama is, stop looking back. Always look where you're going.